What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Or welcome if it's your first time here. This is one of those videos that will probably get people's feathers in an uproar because people like to disagree just to be disagreeing, I think, on some of these topics. And, you know, if you want to disagree, that is fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Even though I'm right, it's still fine to disagree if you want. However, try to be civil in the comments. Try to be respectful in the comments, and I'll be respectful back. One thing that probably most people can agree on that watch this channel is that the federal government is completely and fully corrupt. The federal government is corrupt to the core, and it seems to be getting worse and worse. There's always been some corruption, but right now, you know, the federal government is gone, in my opinion. Completely, fully gone and corrupt. They don't try to get appointed into office because they want to help the American people, not because they want to better the economy, better our lives, increase our freedom. They want to get in office because they want to rob the system, they want to embezzle, they want to gain more and more power all the time. And that's what they do. Their goal is to gain more power. And it's like the United States government in D.C. and a lot of the state and local governments also, but the federal government is completely, fully corrupt. We know that. Both sides, Republicans and the Democrats, completely, fully corrupt. And they want to get in that position to better themselves financially, to gain more power, more control. And they don't care about the American people whatsoever. They don't care about the country whatsoever. You can look at the things they do, the things they support, and it's easy to see they don't care about us at all. They don't care about this country at all. If you look, you know, in Afghanistan, at the American citizens who live in Afghanistan, if you look at Sudan, if you look at Benghazi, proof they don't care about us at all. And guys, another reality that most people don't want to face is that voting no longer works. The system is rigged. They put who they want in office. Your vote doesn't count. Now, a lot of people will get upset about that, and a lot of people go in the comments to be going, give me all kinds of heck in the comments, and that's fine if it's what you want to do. And if you want to vote, you know, if it makes you feel better, go out and vote. Cast your vote. You'll probably switch to another party depending on which way you vote. However, if you want to, go ahead and go vote. But realize that it's like the WWE. The outcome has already been predetermined because they put who they want to in office. It should be obvious to anyone by now. Voting no longer works. Democracy in the United States is actually pretty much dead. You know, there's some local elections that probably aren't, maybe some state elections, but at the federal level, it is corrupted to the core, just like the federal government. And, you know, the same people who are always talking about saving our democracy are the ones that's killing or has killed our democracy. This is a constitutional republic, but we also supposed to be able to vote to put our representatives in office, and these representatives are supposed to be the ones that protect the Constitution, protect the country from outside invasion, and protect the Constitution. However, it's all corrupt, and they don't care about us, and they don't care about the Constitution. They have shit on the Constitution, you know, so many times over the years that the Constitution now is just like a piece of paper they just toss away. It's no longer even an inconvenience to the powers that be. They just do what they want to do, and even if the Supreme Court happens to come in and take up a case and say it's unconstitutional, if they want to do it, they'll still do it anyway. And guys, they do not work for us any longer. I see this in the comments quite often in my videos. They work for us. They're supposed to do what we want them to do. They're supposed to represent us. They work for us. They don't work for us any longer. They don't care about our vote, so they don't have to work for us any longer. They don't care what we want, what we think. They work for the military-industrial complex, the pharmaceutical-industrial complex, themselves to gain power and wealth. They don't work for the American people any longer. Like I said at the start of the video, they are completely, fully corrupt. They don't follow the Constitution at all. Voting is no longer a way to change anything, unfortunately. Complete, full corruption, and they don't work for us any longer. The federal government and most state and local governments are completely lost, completely corrupt and completely lost. And their only goal is to gain more power and to suck every bit of the wealth that they can out of the country as quickly as they can. You look at the decisions that they make, the policies that they put in place, and it's obvious to see that they hate this country, actually. And it's not just the Democrats. I'm talking about the Republicans also. Both sides are completely corrupt. If you notice, both sides always agree to go to war. They always agree to spending. They put up a fake spending battle back and forth, but in the end, they always agree. Always agree to go to war, always agree on spending, and always agree when it comes to the pharmaceutical industrial complex. Open border. And if they cared about the country, like they say they do, and about our democracy and about our safety, they would close the border up. But that border is wide open, and it's wide open for a purpose, because they want to crash the country. They don't work for us any longer. Should be completely, fully obvious to anyone by now. They don't work for us, they don't follow the Constitution, and they're completely corrupt. And guys, another unfortunate reality of the situation we're in now is that the United States dollar is losing its world reserve currency status. Now, I know some of you all will say, so what, who cares? It's going to affect us all. The United States dollar, being the world reserve currency, has allowed the prosperity the United States government has had, the people has had, because it's allowed, us to just print, spend, and export our debt to other countries. It's allowed the United States to control other countries, to control prices of oil and things like that. However, now, all other countries are sick of being manipulated, they're sick of being abused, they're sick of being robbed by the United States government, the military-industrial complex, and they are dumping the dollar, with Russia and China leading the way with the BRICS nations. China wants to be the dominant superpower, and they're working on that. And to do that, they have to rid the world of the dollar as world reserve currency. They're having their own currencies, they're having their own trading systems, and a lot of that is being backed by gold and actual resources that actually worth something besides the United States dollar, which is worth absolutely nothing. Besides the United States government saying it's worth something and being backed by Saudi Arabian oil, which that's definitely ending now, and it's been backed by the power of the United States military. If these other nations want to get off the dollar, the United States would just send in the military and crush that country, destabilize that country to the CIA and the military. That time is ending. The United States, I hate to say this because, I'm an American and I love my country, but the government sucks. The government is corrupt. The United States is one of the biggest state sponsors of terrorism. If you look at all the weapons they gave to radicals, to destabilize nations, to kill civilians, to rape civilians, to kill children, the drone strikes on civilians, you look at everything they've done. It's just like one big terrorist organization. So when they talk about state sponsors of terrorism, they need to look in the mirror, because the United States government and the military-industrial complex and the deep state are some of the biggest supporters of terrorism around the world. But guys, when the dollar is no longer the world reserve currency, it's going to affect us here greatly. It's going to cause hyperinflation. We see inflation now. We see prices of things going up, but it's going to cause hyperinflation like it was in Venezuela. It's going to be catastrophic to the United States economy and to you and I, everyone. Besides these people that are in government that knew this was coming a long time ago and robbed the system as much as they possibly could and used that currency to buy things like corporations, land, gold, silver. They've invested all that money, or a lot of that cash they've embezzled, and laundered it through the system back to themselves. So they're going to be well off. So they don't care about, like I said, everyone else. When it crashes, and they know it's going to crash, they're going to come in and offer the solution. And the solution is going to be this central bank digital currency that they're putting in place right now. They're getting it already because they know the dollar's going to crash. When it does, they'll come in and offer this. And they're going to say, this is the solution that we have. This is it. We're going to do this. And it's going to be all about, I've talked about this before, the central bank digital currency is going to be used to control, manipulate, control your spending. And it's just one big control structure, one big technocracy to control the American people. But we're all going to be equally poor. Besides the elite, they will be up here. We will be down here. Everyone else will be down here. You have a handful of people up here. Everyone else will be here. You have some in the middle to try to enforce the will of the few up here on the many down here. And that's the plan we're putting in place. It's like the Hunger Games society. Guys, the economy is going to keep getting worse and worse. We see it now, but it's speeding up, getting worse and worse because the dollar's being dumped more and more. They keep printing and printing and printing more and more, devaluing the dollar here domestically. So several things are causing this inflation we're seeing in the economy to get worse and worse. And the economy, the dollar and the economy is going to crash here in the United States. And the standard of living here in the U.S. is going to go way down. It's going to go down to a third world country. People here in the U.S. has been privileged for a long time. They have lived in luxury considering the life of a lot of other people in other nations, third world countries, for example, second world countries. The United States has had it made. That's about to change. And when that changes, a lot of people in the U.S. that are used to having things a certain way and a certain living standard are going to go ballistic. It's going to go crazy and look for violence, robbery, all kinds of crime to go up, violent crime to go up. People are going to be pissed because they're not living to the easy standard that they had before. They're going to demand that standard, and they will do anything. They will demand the government come in and give that standard back. So they'll come in off of that digital currency. But look for crime to go up, theft to go up, property crime to go up, home invasion to go up, violence in general to go up. So be ready for that. That's a reality of the situation that we're in. And guys, I mentioned a minute ago about the open southern border. Like I said, there's a reason for the open southern border. It is to destabilize the country, to weaken the country, to let everyone come in because it's the cloud and pivot strategy. Flood the system with dependents and the system will crash. And Joe Biden himself, in a video, had to be 10, 20 years ago, I guess it was. I'm not sure how long ago it was. I seen the video here about 6 months ago, actually. And he said that the United States is going to be brown. And he said that's a good thing. White people are going to be the minority, and that's a good thing. And that's their plan, to flood the country. But it's not about, they're using race as a political ploy. It's not about race. It's about crashing the country. It's about weakening the country, bringing the third world into the United States, and the United States will be the third world. And we know we have Chinese stationed in Panama, I think it was. They're just waiting to come across the border. Everything is setting up, and everything they're doing is to weaken and crash the United States. Like I said, they don't care. They don't care about us at all. They want this country to crash. That's the plan of the globalists, because they want it to crash because they want this new system. The United States has to crash first. So everything they are doing looks like these people are just crazy. And a lot of them are crazy. And look at Joe Biden. However, it's all a plan. It's a plan to crash everything down and to have this elite at the top and the people, everyone else, at the bottom. Another reality is that the mainstream media is completely corrupt, just like the federal government. They're not in place. They're not reporting to report the truth. They're not reporting to report the news. They're simply in place to be mouthpieces of the United States government and the CIA, Operation Mockingbird. It's still in play. It should be obvious to anyone by now. That's what's going on. They repeat the same things across the board, and it's all for a purpose, to sway your opinion, to get your support, to make you look at someone else as being evil when they're the ones that's actually evil over here, to sway your opinion, like I said, to get you to do certain things, to believe certain things. It's all propaganda. The mainstream media's goal is to control the population. It's to keep the population in check and to make the population do what the federal government wants them to do, even when they think that it's not what they want them to do. It's all fifth generational warfare, manipulation, and mind games, all done through the mainstream media. We see social media shutting people down on social media, like we hear on YouTube, Facebook getting posts taken off on Facebook, and fact checkers. It's all about controlling the narrative, and that's why they got rid of Tucker Carlson. He was the only one that was actually telling the truth on a lot of topics and reporting actual news and trying to get the word out. They couldn't have that. So Tucker Carlson is gone. So now all we have is the mouthpieces from the federal government and the CIA telling you nightly, repeatedly, what they want us to think, what they want us to believe, what they want us to support, their agenda, their narrative. They want no dissenting voices whatsoever. They want to completely control the narrative. And guys, another reality is that war with China is coming. Everyone says it's coming. Everyone's gearing up for this. They're getting ready for this. The United States government's getting ready for this. They're saying 2027 is going to happen. I don't know what the date they put out there. 2027 is going to happen, war with China. Everyone's gearing up. China's getting ready to invade Taiwan. And when that happens, it's going to be break out into World War III. And it could go nuclear with China. I say that when it happens, you're going to see Japan get involved. You're going to see North Korea get involved, South Korea, Russia, China, United States, the BRICS nations, NATO. It all go into World War III. And the trigger point is going to be Taiwan and North and South Korea. That's the trigger point. It's going to trigger off World War III and probably a nuclear war. Is this planned to bring in this global system completely? Possibly. 2027 is before 2030. 2030 is when they wanted this control structure put in place, this global new world order. So this could be all part of that. They could have some nuclear exchanges and then come out and say, we got to do this and this and this to get peace. And people will say, yes, we got to have this because we can't have this war, this nukes going off and things. So we have to be supportive of this one world government because we have to have peace and prosperity. And this one world, this currency, this full control. Possibly that's what it is, and more likely that's it. More likely it's a plan to bring in this globalist system. But I think there will be people die because, like I said, they don't care about us whatsoever. You know, if they can shoot off a few nukes, kill a few million people, so what? They don't care. As long as it will get them more power, get them more wealth and more control. That's what it's all about. So prepare for these unfortunate realities of the situation. This is where we are now in the country, guys. And I didn't even get into, the complete corruption of morality in the United States. Everything that we see that should be going on isn't. Everything that shouldn't be going on is. And it's all designed to demoralize and crash our standard of living down, crash the country down, to rearrange the power structure. Stop looking for votes to change anything. Stop thinking it's going to somehow miraculously fix itself somehow. Stop thinking that as a nation we're going to stand up and have a civil war and fight it out and take the country back. It's not going to happen, unfortunately, in my opinion. So know that, accept that, prepare for that, and get ready because, ready or not, it's coming. Thought the video was helpful. Get a big thumbs up. Thanks for watching the Creekmore Matter, and I'll see you all in the next video, hopefully.